Good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. And Sean, you're definitely a punker. Always fighting the system, always challenging what's going on. That's what it's all about. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. I'd like to start with and it's going to be a recurring theme. I kind of have a man crush on the lead singer of Bad Religion, Greg Graffin. Amazing man, very, very intelligent man. And so I'd like to start with their song, The New America. And because of our evening last night, I chose not to be playing a bunch of, hard, loud, obnoxious punk, but I'll just read the words. Cut through it all. Do you know the cost of future misery? Have you lost your sense of sustainability? We are just a step away from realizing what we strive to be. But we've got to break out from this insulated blind and lame senility. Wake up, the new America. Transcend the mass hysteria. Change is the thing you're wary of. We need a new America. Laurels, human triumph, bestowments from the past, victories don't mean a thing if they don't last. We are just marching toward extinction with blinders on our eyes, jeopardizing everything we've learned and come to realize. And you call that wise? Open your eyes, America. See through the lies they tell to us. Confront the fears that worry us. We need a new America. We don't have to be afraid to reinvent. We've got to start to build, progress, and implement. For when we take our fill and never pay the price, we only build ourselves a fleeting, false paradise. You can live in staunch denial and mark me as your enemy, but I'm just a voice among the throng who want a brighter destiny. They say with me, we are the new America. This is the new America. Thanks to Art Bagnall in 2005 discussion of Green Day's American Idiot album, for many of you, this isn't your first punk rodeo. Or if you're my wife or been in the car with me less than, more than 5 minutes and I have control of the radio, you've heard punk. My goal today is not to give a lesson in the history of punk rock. Who did it first? Who did it better? Because there's a much more important message in that. It's a responsible and personally accountable future. Music has always been a definitive part of who I am. But somewhere in my 20s, I found punk. And it started with punk covers. Punk covers are fun. There's a band exclusively, that's all they do, Me First and the Gimme Gimmes. And they do anything from Goodbye Earl to they do show tunes. They've done Evita. They've done Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Fun stuff. And then it was more of that popular, easily accessible variety. And I was familiar with the teenage angst / heartbreak songs. But as I was introduced to more traditional, less poppy punk, I found something with substance. It was an entire musical genre based around questioning everything. Sometimes angry, sometimes obnoxious, sometimes silly, sometimes proud, most of the times crass, but always loud. They were critical of every aspect of Americana. As Rocky Balboa said, the world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. I listened to this raw sonic landscape, this unpolished guitar, the oftentimes flat, incomprehensible vocals, and the up-tempo drums, and heard something truly amazing. Like in the words by Offspring in their song, All I Want. Day after day, your home life's a wreck. The powers that be just breathe down your neck. You get no respect, you get no relief. You gotta speak up and yell out your piece. So back off your rules, back off your jive, because I'm sick of not living to stay alive. Leave me alone, I'm not asking a lot. I just don't want to be controlled. That's all I want. All I want. How many times is it going to take till someone around you hears what you say? You've tried being cool. You feel like a lie. You've played by their rules. Now it's their turn to try. So back off your rules, back off your jive, because I'm sick of not living to stay alive. Leave me alone. I'm not asking a lot. I just don't want to be controlled. That's all I want. That's all I want. I said it before. I'll say it again. If you could just listen, then it might make sense. And No Effects, Fat Mike, his stage name, really was just, like, they've been in a band since the 80s, and their goal was just to be as annoying, as obnoxious as absolutely possible. They did a song called Please Play the Song on the Radio, and it was exclusively to screw up somebody who actually happened to play that song. Because the first 2 minutes is generic pop, and then there's a pause, and just vulgarities ensue. And it was just designed to ruin somebody's musical career. But after a while, Fat Mike realized that there was a little more than this party-going, fun kind of thing. And he wrote a song called Franco Un-American. I never thought about the universe. It made me feel small. Never thought about the problems of this planet at all. Global warming, radioactive sites, imperialistic wrongs and animal rights. Why think of all the bad things when life is so good? Why think with an am when there's always a could? Let the whales worry about the poisons in the sea. Outside of California, it's foreign policy. I don't want changes. I have no reactions. Your dilemmas are my distractions. That's no way to go, Franco Un-America. I never looked around. I never second-guessed. Then I read some Howard Zinn. Now I'm always depressed. And now I can't sleep from years of apathy, all because I read a little Noam Chomsky. I'm eating vegetation cause of fast food nation. I'm wearing uncomfortable shoes cause of globalization. I'm watching Michael Moore expose the awful truth. I'm listening to Public Enemy and Reagan Youth. I see no world peace cause of zealous armed forces. I eat no breath mints because they're from de-hoofed horses. Now I can't believe what an absolute failure. The president's laughing because he voted for Nader. That's no way to go, Franco Un-American. I don't want to be another I don't care-ican. Where are we going to do Franco Un-American? Now here's some music that is not about getting your booty on the dance floor or how sad you are about how heartbroken you are, but about challenging those things that you know are not right. Those things that, for whatever reason, people have turned a blind eye to or become so inundated into in the very rat race that holds us down. Punk is always very socially current and aware. And being an avid reader, I have found a wellspring of sources of new material through punk. Lisa and I are constantly looking up people and things we have heard from one song or another. It's about diving into ideas and sharing thoughts. And notice everyone laughing, a room full of people who actually know who Howard Zinn is. So I'd like to share a Howard Zinn quote here. Let's talk about socialism. I think it's very important to bring back the idea of socialism into the national discussion to where it was at the turn of the last century, before the Soviet Union gave it a bad name. Socialism had a good name in this country. Socialism had Eugene Debs, it had Clarence Darrow, it had Mother Jones, it had Emma Goldman. It had several million people reading through socialist newspapers around the country. Socialism basically said, hey, let's have a kinder, gentler society. Let's share things. Let's have an economic system that produces things not because they're profitable for some corporation, but produces things that people need. People should not be retreating from the word socialism because you have to go beyond capitalism. Now, is socialism the way to go? Who knows? And frankly, who cares? The point Howard Zinn was making is that we spend most of our lives having people make our opinions for us, filtered through their own biases, fears, and opinions. Knowledge is the sharpening stone for the tools of the mind. And here is another band, the Street Dogs. This is called There Is a Power in the Union. There is power in a democracy, power in the land, power in the hands of the worker, but it all amounts to nothing if together we don't stand. There is a power in a union. Now the lessons of the past we all learned with workers' blood. The mistakes of the bosses we must pay for. From the cities to the farmlands and the trenches full of mud, 'cause war has always been the boss's way, sir. The union forever, defending our rights. Let's fight the right wing, our workers unite. With our brothers and our sisters from many far-off lands, there is a power in a union. Now, I long for the time that they realize brutality and unjust laws cannot defeat us. But who will defend the workers who can't organize when the GOPs send their attorneys out to cheat us? Money speaks for money, the devil for his own. Who will come and speak for the skin and the bone? What a comfort to a widow, a light for the child. There is a power in a union. The union forever, defending your rights. Let's fight the right wing. All workers unite. With our brothers and our sisters from many far-off lands, there is a power in a union. With social justice and equality for every man and woman who wants it, there is a power in a union. Now, where punk has rightfully earned the notoriety of being synonymous with anarchy and generally associated with nihilism, at its core, it is more of a challenge to the current zeitgeist. As children, we followed our parents as guides through what was right and wrong. And the older we got, the more we heard, no, don't do that. That's wrong. Or my absolute least favorite is because I said so. But as we continue through life, we learn that many things have an answer of, yes, we can do that. That's right. And that because I said so is not an answer at all. So what do? We find like-minded people. We learn to have a voice, and we learn how powerful or ineffective that voice can be. We learn that our government is not always acting with our best interests, and we learn that we can fight. Fighting, of course, in this sense, is activism, information, and a refusal to participate in that which is not making us a better people. A movement in punk that grew out of the late 70s, claiming that alcohol, tobacco, drugs, and promiscuity are all instruments of oppression and are self-destructive because they cloud the mind and wear down a person's resistance to other types of oppression, is something called straight edge. It is a lifestyle choice that has since grown into animal rights advocacy, veganism, and abstaining from not only drugs and alcohol, but fatty foods and caffeine as well. You know, people realize that if you're going to fight the system, there's a lot that you have to fight. And it's a very do-it-yourself mentality in punk. Most bands are either on an independent label or they own their own labels themselves. NoFX owns their own record label. Bad Religion owns their own record label. The Dead Kennedys own their own record label, and the list goes on and on. And they have learned that since they are not making radio-friendly, feel-good, fluffy music, that big labels won't even come close to them. They are not interested in being a disposable commodity, and in doing so, they have created a genuine alternative to big music. Most of these independent labels will only do one album contract to ensure that the band has the freedom to make the music that they want. This has given a huge amount of freedom to speak out against social and political issues also. Fat Mike, the owner of Fat Records and the lead singer and bassist of NoFX, started a 2004 campaign called Punk Voter that not only raised money towards the campaign of John Kerry, about $1 million worth, but also pushed for young people to vote, which, by the way, is a demographic that went from 40.5% in 2000 to 48.9% in 2004, then went up another 2% in 2008. And that's good. It's people waking up. It's still 51%, but it's better than 40. One big social issue punk is almost across the board against is war. They see it as exclusively political in nature and has never had the best intentions of the people. They generally deplore nationality as they see that as a tool to control the masses. System of a Down asks, why don't presidents fight the war? Why do they always send the poor? And Bad Religion says, there's a prophet on a mountain and he's making up dinner with a long division and a riding crop. Anybody can feel like a winner when it's served up piping hot, but the people aren't looking for a handout. They're America's working core. Can this be what they voted for? Let them eat war. Let them eat war. That's how to ration the poor. Let them eat war. There's an urgent need to feed declining pride. From the forests to the union shops, the war economy is making new jobs. But the people who benefit most are breaking bread with their benevolent hosts, who never stole from the rich to give to the poor. All they ever gave to them was a war and a foreign enemy to deplore. Let them eat war. Let them eat war. That's how to ration the poor. Let them eat war. There's an urgent need to feed declining pride. and Greg Graffin of the same band states that we can all agree on a system by which we can derive the truth, an inclusive society. And like the show at South Park, nothing is taboo, not even religion, particularly in the lyrics of the band Bad Religion. And I have found a very thoughtful critique throughout their entire discography. They just very, very profound. Greg Graffin is a PhD and a professor at Cornell when he's not touring around the world. And they have to say in the song All There Is that this song goes out to all the hopeless sinners with grave allegiances so meaningless and vain, the walking wounded in a pageant of contenders who balance on a rail of pain for just a little rain. And everything is barely missed, blood relations and bricks. My expression, my confession, added up, extract the lesson more than this. Once again, like a bullet as a friend, tell me, can that be all there is? In my rectory of doubts, I kneel to pray like one devout. As time, the great, great dreamless sleep of a useless modern God, erodes away each storied day as wretched atoms with hell to pay, content upon a rail of pain for just a little rain. And everything is dearly missed, blood relations and bricks. My expression, my confession, added up, extract the lesson more than this. Once again, like a bullet as a friend, tell me, can that be all there is? There's an endless disposition, and it doesn't mean a damn thing. There's space for a paper airplane race in the eye of a hurricane, and if pigs could fly, then surely so could I. But this pedestrian knows better than to even try, and my divinity is caught in between the colors of a butterfly. And everything is dearly missed, blood relations and bricks. My expression, my confession, added up, extract the lesson more than this. Once again, like a bullet as a friend, tell me, can that be all there is? All there is? When we can change our opinions based in facts, it's an awesome thing. Stephen Hawking was able to change his famous theory of the mechanics of black holes 30 years after the fact. This is what the man was known for. But when we refuse to admit we could be wrong, or support our claims with emotion and pride, we create a breeding ground of intolerance. We turn our heads and let everyone else's problems stay just that. Well, as Pastor Martin Nameroller stated, first, they came for the communists. And I didn't speak out because I wasn't a communist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. Thank you.